Rhok! You see what I did there? Do you see what I did there? I found a fan. I found it's not spinning. I wanted it to spin.
This is my old racetrack out here, guys. If you've been a subscriber from way back when, you remember this was like, I used to call this my personal racetrack. This is also where I did the Rhok test for the pants. It was through this neighborhood. Can't do that anymore. Stupid housing development coming back. Wow. As I wheelie into the sun. Let's talk about some tire myths. Talk about myths or things, and the first I'm going to talk about is having an odd size tire, knowing what you're looking for, and not getting fucked up. Really what you should do before your tire even wears out, if you got an odd size tire like this one has, you should make sure someone either has them in stock or order one. Go ahead and get one ready to go. Because when it shows nylon or threads and you want to go riding and you know the cords are out, what are you going to do? What do you mean you don't got that tire in? Well, it's real rough. If somebody does say they have it in stock, there's a couple things to check for. One, I've said people say they've got a tire, and you got to make sure they say you've got the tire you're looking for. Not they say, yeah, I got a tire for that. Because they'll just go, yeah, I got something that'll fit it. And you go there and they have like a 160 or something, you know, and you're trying to tell them, like, that's going to rub the chain. Like, what bike you got? He's all looking through a book, you know, like, for some reference thing. I'm like, dude, it's a supermoto bike that's been converted. It doesn't have the same rim on it. I mean, not all parts guys are stupid, you know. A lot of them are okay. I mean, the guys I talked to today at Kawasaki Suzuki was a good guy, you know, he wasn't stupid. You got to make sure it's the actual tire you're looking for. You show up there and you try to put the wrong tire on, and it's just going to get problems, especially with something weird like a Motard. There's just not really a lot of room, leverage, or, you know, give wiggle room in there. What the fucking word I'm trying to say is, it's not a lot of wiggle room to put the wrong tire on your bike. Don't do something stupid. They say they have one in stock. What makes me always skeptical is I ask them, how old is it? You gotta make sure that's not some old fucking raggedy tire. They may have a 150 in stock, but it could have been on the shelf for the last year and a half, 2 years or something. Fucking 10 years, you don't know. And that's no good. You don't want that tire. If the sticker's all yellowed and curled, that's probably a bad sign. The easiest thing to do is to take your fingernail and try to press it into the tire. And if that tire is like it should be, you should be able to press into it, hold your finger there for a second, let go, and there should be a mark where your thumb was. If there's not a mark, that's not good. And it's just a little mark. It'll go away after a second, but you should be able to see where your thumb just went to the tire. There's something to do on any tire. You never know. I mean, you could have a very common bike, but you know that they didn't. If they don't, the way they stock tires and the way they pull tires, you know, is probably one end that's really convenient to get tires from and one end that's not. So, you know, you can have a tire that's set up there for a long time. There's a tire that's meant to go for your bike, and that's when you should run it. If you're running or if you're running a factory bike with whatever, I'd say whatever tire came on it is probably the best tire to run on it, you know. There are a few exceptions out there where people figure out, well, it's actually better to run, you know, the next size up, you know, in width or something. But usually not the best idea to start fucking with that, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure Deere's ESMs are one of the weird ones. They come with like a 140 on the back, and really a 150 is what should be on there. But most cases, it's not anything you want to be screwing around with. It's just whatever they engineered for it is how the whole bike's been engineered and built. So putting a bigger tire on the back doesn't do anything for you. See, a lot of people think if you put like a 200 series tire on the back, or like a 190 or something on your sport bike, you're going to get this bigger contact patch, and it's going to be grippier, and it's going to handle better. But it's actually the fucking opposite. You stick to what's made for your bike, and if you got something like a Motard, you know, that's the other one, because if you got a converted bike or something with different wheels or something crazy, then, you know, people go all crazy with different things, and everyone's got a different opinion on what wheel you should run, and if you don't agree with them, you're a fucking idiot, apparently. For instance, I got a 4 1/4 inch rim on this one. If I were to run a bigger tire, like a 160, it it would actually make my contact patch less. You gotta remember, with these tires, they're rounded. It's not like a car tire, you know. More isn't always just gonna be better. When you run a bigger tire and you squeeze it to fit a rim that's not really right for it, it actually squeezes it. It makes the round part, if you can imagine, you know, instead of being like this, it comes down more like that. You end up with a much more peakier tire, and you end up with less contact patch than you had before, and you end up with more of a peaky tire. Peaky tire. When you run that big tire, because of that point in it, it's gonna, the way that thing rolls around turns is gonna feel all weird. It's gonna really throw it off. It's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna like it. It to some degree is gonna actually throw the performance off, because having that more peaky tire, it's gonna weigh more because it's a little bit bigger of a tire. So it just depends how much extra bigger you go, but it will actually cost you power. And also, because the tire is now taller, your entire wheel is taller, it's like you've just geared the thing up. And gearing it up is only going to do one thing. That's going to make it accelerate slower. And it's going to wear out faster on you because it's peaked in more. The only way you can really run a bigger tire on the back is if you get one that's made to, like, sort of go on there and look like a bigger tire. And a lot of times they're not even really that much bigger. I think like Shinko makes like a drag tire. I think it's not that much bigger. It's just it sits flatter, you know. That's what you got to do. You can't you gotta find fucking neutral. Look, I'm gonna show you my back tire and show you what I'm talking about with having a good profile. This tire is fucking about as round as it can fucking be right here. It's not picking up. You see a lot of people with their pilot tires are fucking special. They got this big fucking bubble dome on the top here because they're running too fucking wide of a tire. It's not getting into the chain. The chain's got some distance between it. Having the block though helps a lot on the Supermoto. But this tire is what needs to be on a 4 1/4, 4 1/2 inch rim. Running a bigger one does not give any advantages, does nothing but disadvantages. And you can see here the front having a 120, and this is a standard sport bike size tire here. Having a 120 on here is just perfect. It's got a nice round shape to it, what it should have. So the moral is, put the fucking tire that's made for your bike. The only thing you're gonna gain from putting a big ass tire on the back there is aesthetics. And I don't really know why people think that looks cool to have a big tire on the back. To me, it looks like super squid, because I just know how like dumb it is for all around everything else. I mean, let's assume that I thought it was cool to put a big aluminum wing on the back of my car, you know, a big spoiler, even though it's front wheel drive. Let's assume I thought that actually looked cool. Even if I thought it looked, even if I did, I would never do it because it serves no fucking purpose. It does nothing for the car. It's fucking front wheel drive. Putting a big fucking tire on the back does nothing for your ride. Oh, that's fucking like sand and shit. Wow. It does nothing for your ride. So don't do it. Just say no to fucking big tires. Oh, there's the sun. Fuck this. Later, guys. No hood. Fucked. Get fuck you piece of shit. Yeah. God dang it, motherfucker. I'm fucking exhausted. My mind at this thing.